Hospital port as pride and dignity. Stop the New World Order. Welcome to HPANWO TV. I am here at, this is where I am. This is Carla, Carla Buckle of the Berkshire and Oxfordshire Seeking Solutions
Against the New World Order.
That's right, and we're both part of that group. And we're just going to have a quick look here where we are, just show you where we are. Welcome to Greenham and Common. Now, this is the area we're going to be investigating today. And if you have a look around here, you'll have you'll get a feel that this looks rather like an airport. And the reason is because that's exactly what it was. Greenham Common was an airbase that was built in 1942, and it's a joint British and American for the RAF and the US Air Force, and it was used in World War II and all through the Cold War, and it was reached national attention, didn't it, in the around about 1980, the early 1980s, because the government decided to allow the Americans military to station nuclear-tipped cruise missiles at this base. And in time of war, here we are, cruise missile silos. We'll have to have a look at them. 6 huge reinforced covered chambers capable of storing large mobile cruise missile launchers. Because, I mean, were you living here back then, Carla?
No, I moved here in 2001.
Oh, it's long after that, yeah. Because basically, the base, when the Cold War ended after the collapse of the Soviet Union by the Rockefeller Foundation member called Mikhail Gorbachev, the whole Cold War ended, and this base was shut down. The American forces rotated back, but the reason I'm here is, of course, the reason this film is called Piesmore 3, Greenham Common, is because I'm investigating the allegations and claims made by two people. One of them was a friend of mine, actually, James Casbolt, if he's watching. Another is a guy I've never met before called Barry King. And I urge you, please look in the description box if you haven't already and watch parts 1 and 2 of my Piesmore films. The allegation is that there is a base underneath Piesmore in Berkshire, an underground military base, and this is what we're going to be investigating today. And this is our map. This is what we're going to be. I also have an Ordnance Survey map, and I'm going to be showing you that now. And then we'll proceed. I'll show you where we are on the map, and then we're going to go and proceed to investigate the site. See you in a minute. Well, let's have a look at where we are. I'm back on my beloved map again. Once more, I'm using Ordnance Survey Land Range Art Plate 174, Newbury and Wantage, and we're in Newbury. Now, just to refresh our memories from the previous films, the focus of all our study is this tiny little village here, Piesmore. I covered this issue in the first film in this series called Piesmore. In the second film, I moved to here, the Rutherford Laboratory at the Harwell International Science Centre, and that was I covered in the film Piesmore 2. This is one of the alleged entrances to the AL-499 base at Piesmore, well, deep beneath the ground below Piesmore. This time I'm going to investigate the alleged location of another of the entrances to the Piesmore base, and it's down here. It's here at this place called Greenham Common, and that's where we have just seen, where me and Carla are. And this is basically the area we're going to be exploring. As you can see, it's there's not much marked on here. It's quite flat land, as it would be when there's an ex-airbase. That symbol there means it's a wildlife sanctuary. That symbol there means it is a rambling centre, so people can go and walk around and just go for strolls and things like that. So we're going to go and proceed there and see what we can find. And as always, I'm accompanied by my trusty Underwater and Underground Bases by Richard Sauder, author of Underground Bases and Tunnels. This book really tells you everything you need to know about the signs of what to look for when you're looking for a secret underground base. And I go into more details about that in the first two books. In the first two films, Piesmore and Piesmore 2. So I explain more there. So if you haven't watched those films, please go to the link in the description box, which will take you to those first two films, which will give you a bit of background on what I'm doing today. Now, there's a lot more to be discovered after this, actually, because there's a lot of other alleged entrances here at Watchfield, and also down here at Lambourne. So this base is, the base obviously has entrances an awful long way from where it is, if it exists. These entrances are miles away. You have to travel miles and miles and miles down a tunnel to get to the base, the Piesmore base. It would be very nice if there was a fire there, I must say. But first of all, Carla and I'm going to show you something that Carla and I discovered earlier on, because we decided we'd have a look around Newbury. Newbury is as in New World Order Bury. The Illuminati love playing mind games like this, and I'll tell you what, it's an odd place. It's a strange, rather occultic type town, and me and Carla have found some evidence of strange goings on, so we're going to go there first before we go onto the base. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is the Masonic Lodge of Newbury. Don't know how much you can see it, but I'll just try and zoom in a bit. I can see there's a Masonic centre, I can see it. So there's a few cars in the way. Now, I'm with Carla. There it is there. Are we going to drive past it? Or are we going to go the other way?
I'm going to drive past it
okay,
and then
thanks.
I'll slow down and stop the other cars behind me.
Now in a minute we're going to show you a church as well, because there's a church over there, which is very interesting too. Now then, see, this is the Masonic Centre here at Newbury. Now look at those. There's those acorn-like structures on top. Now we saw these at Piesmore. Masonic Centre. There we are. There's those acorn-like structures up there. Very odd. These strange stacked windows. Right, what's that? Visitors sign there. Right. And contents are left at owner's own risk. Oh, vehicles and contents. That's very odd. Now, thanks very much. Thanks for showing us that.
I've got to turn around now and you can get the church.
So, now we were talking earlier on that so it's a bit of a difficult road here, so Carla can't talk at the moment, but we were talking a bit earlier on about how Masonic lodges are found near churches, near hospitals, and what was the other?
Yeah, hospitals and churches normally.
Yeah. And there could be many reasons for that. Ellis Taylor would be interested in this actually. We're going to turn around and go back down this road, and this road is called
this one.
what's it called? There's a road sign. We'll find out in a minute.
I've lived here nearly 10 years and I don't know my way about myself.
But that's Clarendon Gardens, that road there. There's the Masonic Lodge, and we got up here and we see a church with very unusual architecture. Now it has this very peculiar tower. We'll get a better view of it in a minute.
If I can get in somewhere, then
maybe we can park. Do you mean park and go and have a look?
If I know the way in, I don't know how.
Yeah. Okay. If we can, doesn't matter if we can't. But
I'll turn right down there and see if there's an entrance.
All right. We're going to see if we can get a closer look at the church by walking. Okay, and Carla and I have actually moved around the corner, and we are parked on this little road at the back, and that there is the church. Now, when I first saw this, I thought it was a mosque. I mean, it looks Oriental. I mean, the tower in particular is.
It looks creepy. I mean, I don't know.
Very, yeah.
It doesn't look like a church that's inviting you in.
No, it does have a sort of dark energy to it. Maybe it's a sort of I don't know what kind of architecture that is. Very strange. I thought, like I said, it looks like a mosque. It looks Islamic or Middle Eastern. However, of course, it has the Christian cross on the top. It has this dome-shaped structure at the pinnacle. Maybe like an Eastern Orthodox church. You see these in sort of like these, like St Basil's Cathedral in Moscow. You know, with the big onion-shaped, colourful
I'm going to see if
pinnacle.
there's an entrance round.
Yeah, well, I'll walk around with you. Now, obviously, that is no doubt about it. That is phallic. The tower is phallic, like many towers on many churches and many other buildings as well. It is intended to be a masculine fertility symbol. Now, what I'm curious to find, because I've spoken about this before. If you watch my video, The Sexiest Place in Oxford, you'll know that I've explained how you often get in architecture, and you will once I've explained to you, you'll notice it all the time. Oh, we can't get in through here, but it's let's have a look inside, and that is you get.
Oh, there's a
No. No. I don't think there's much to see around there, actually. It's just a church, but...
I just thought it was strange that it was very close to that Masonic.
Yeah, right by the Masonic Lodge. But you get like get this. You get a dome-shaped structure close to a tower or obelisk-shaped structure, and this is occultic. It's because the dome represents is a female fertility symbol.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, it represents womb or vagina, and the phallic tower, of course, is a male sexual symbol. Now, the reason you get, because if you look at, say, you go to London, you have like the Millennium Dome, and right next to it, that big tall obelisk-shaped tower, One Canada Place, which was for a while the tallest building in Britain. That's a big willy, isn't it? Oh, my eyes are watering. I feel inadequate. 512 feet high.
Gosh.
Yeah, look at the size of my tower, girls. Yeah, and next to it is this huge dome, the Millennium Dome, which of course everyone thought was a big folly. Everyone thought, oh. Well, they built that one very unpopular. The exhibition there had to close actually because it was so poorly attended. But I mean, there's a reason why you get these shapes in architecture, as I explained in that film.
Yes.
And so I'm curious to see. Firstly, we have the Masonic Lodge just over there, in that direction.
That we just passed.
We've just passed that. I'm curious to see if there is a dome-shaped object. I predict somewhere near here there will be a building which has a dome-shaped top. So we shall see, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, I haven't.
We moved a short distance from the church, which is just behind us, just over there. And this is a doctor's surgery here, St Mary's Surgery. So maybe this is a hospital, which Masonic lodges are close to. I don't know if that counts as a hospital, does it? I suppose it is in a way.
I don't know. I don't know.
But hospitals are places, I mean, I know this, of course, very well indeed. Hospitals are places where there's a lot of emotional energy, because there's a lot of pain, a lot of suffering, a lot of fear, worry, and death, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Hospitals are the #1 places for ghost hauntings and things like that.
Yeah.
And anyone who's been in a hospital, I mean, there's loads of ghost stories I can tell you about that hospital. We're at St Mary's Road here, you see. I think Ellis Taylor would be very interested. I'll tell him. There's the church. See, look, we see it. This is the church from the other side. Sorry, what were you saying, Carla?
You might want to get this on the Robin Hood roundabout.
Right, yes, now we're going to go past something. Now, Carla, you brought this up on Facebook a little while ago.
Yeah. Because I think it ties in with a lot of what Brian Gerrish has said about these sculptures and things.
Yeah, definitely. Brian Gerrish, who of course is someone I respect a lot. He's a campaigner against common purpose and various other aspects of the New World Order, and to children and things like that. Now he has noticed strange art appearing, artworks.
When we go round in a minute.
Yeah, but we'll have a look at that again in a minute. But Brian has noticed there is a lot of very, very peculiar art and architecture emerging, just new stuff that's emerging. And he says that a lot of it is people find it disturbing. They watch it, and it gives children nightmares, things like that. And Brian thinks, and I agree with him, that it's not accidental. That these very peculiar pieces of artwork are being left around. These are the sort of things I wouldn't go into an art gallery to see. I mean, it's not.
You'll see it when we go round the roundabout. You'll see it better.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not the kind of person who would go to an art gallery to see something like that. It's just, to me, that's not. It's not exactly what I call nice art. It's not exactly Rembrandt or Cézanne or Leonardo da Vinci. To me, it's just a piece. It's usually like, sometimes they're made out of junk, sometimes they're made out of stone, metal, and very often they're just weird shaped pieces of metal. And I think to myself, what's the point of that? And of course, you talk. The answers very often, I think we're often meant to feel, I don't know if you feel like, Carla, here we go, we're getting close now, is that if you don't understand a piece of artwork, you generally think, well, it's obviously so profound, it's above my intellectual level. Here we go.
But a bit like the lights might stop so that you can get a better, you can zoom in. Do you see it now, Ben?
Yes, I do. This is weird, it's like silhouettes or cutouts of, do you see that, HPANWO TV viewers? Yep. Just pause. Pause and take a better look if you want. But it's a very, very strange.
We'll get it back when we come back. Perhaps might give a bit of view of it.
But isn't that peculiar? That is a very, very peculiar. That to me was a very extremely peculiar image. Almost like a kind of like an inverted sort of like.
Yeah,
colour.
it disturbed me when I first saw it, to be honest.
Mm.
And it's I don't know, it draws you in. I think it does.
Yeah.
That's Victoria Park.
Right. Anything strange in that area?
No, nothing that I know of.
I can't see. Well,
I'm not really the right person to ask.
but I mean, I think you intuitively spot these things when strange things happen. You know, this is all connected with what we're going to be looking at today. I don't know whether we already have or haven't. I'm not sure which order I'm going to edit this film yet. But of course, we're here to investigate the Greenham Common site. So we'll proceed there, and we'll, if we haven't already, see you in a bit. What we're looking at now are silos. These are the weapons storage area at Greenham Common, where cruise missiles and their launchers were kept. These were nuclear weapons. Behind this, it's still fenced off. You still can't get in there. With 3 rows of fences. Here's the first row. Then there's another one inside. There's another one inside. You can just see into that one there. Actually, it's open. I mean, these are disused. They're not keeping nuclear weapons in there now. At least I hope they're not. Let's see if I can get the focus right. Come on, chaps. You can actually see into that one there. These big iron doors on these ones here. They're designed to be secure. Now the reason these silos here were the very reason there was a massive protest here that lasted many years, all through the started sort of in around 1980. There was a women's peace camp here. Danger razor wire. Well, they've taken the razor wire down. There was like a group of a camp for women only. They didn't want male protesters. They thought if you're a bloke, you're supposed to be in favour of nuclear weapons. I think, no matter what your opinions are. But there was over 30,000 women camped out here. I'll just scan around. You can see the rest of the facility. It's basically a large. It's starting to rain now. A large kind of like parkland. There's some cows over there. Yeah, it's quite a desolate open area here, and there's a tower there. See, there's I don't know if that's a water tower or what it is, whether it's connected with the base, what used to be a base. But it's a very chaotic kind of landscape here. It looks like they haven't managed to plant stuff very well, Carla. I mean, you don't see large forests. It's not a very well manicured park. It's sort of like almost like heathland.
Yeah.
And I can't help wondering if maybe there may be some effect from radiation. I'm not sure. And we would come to the end of the weapon silos now, and you see these signs here: danger, razor wire, barbed wire, no access for unauthorised persons. These are obviously old signs, and these bunkers are now no longer in use. The Americans, since like I said before, all the American facilities here have rotated back home. I mean, the irony is that, as Larry Warren has explained, and the other guys at the Rendlesham Forest incident, the main nuclear facility in Britain was at Woodbridge Bentwaters. It wasn't here. There was just a handful of warheads here. Woodbridge Bentwaters had hundreds of them at the Hot Row facilities, they called it. And they used to laugh at these women here. They used to say, girls, you're in the wrong place. And that's of course where the UFO actually came down, at Bentwaters Woodbridge. Now where are we now? This is...
Which way do you want to go, Ben?
Should we go along this path? Is that alright?
Yeah, that's fine.
We'll carry on along here. Just checking out the area. This I think was runway. There was runways going along here, and there's like the old base buildings, which of course now used for something else. There's the Greenham Arts Centre and stuff like that. It's all been sort of turned into fluffy, cuddly things. But But I wonder if there is a radiation problem here. I mean, obviously it's not going to affect us just walking through here.
No.
But it may sort of like stunt the growth of plants and things like that,
Yeah.
which is why the grass doesn't seem to have taken very well here. If you look at, obviously we've had a lot of rain, it's been a bit...
Watch your dog.
Oh yeah, gotta watch your feet going along here. Oh, so not a bad day though. I mean, we've had blue skies through the trees. Blue sky through the through the clouds. No chemtrails. Haven't seen a chemtrail today. I came down here on the train. But we'll keep walking along and keep looking, and see what we can find. On a nice day, I can imagine it's nice around here. We've seen a lot of joggers, a lot of dog walkers. I bet it's packed here at weekends. Do you reckon?
It is, yeah. We wouldn't get to park where we parked today.
Yeah.
We were lucky to get in the car park.
Yeah, it's... what's this here? There's a sign.
Probably a sign to pick up dog poo or something.
Yeah, for all visitors. Ground nesting birds first at right. I think this is a wildlife area. I think they've turned into a kind of nature reserve.
Right.
There's not much point if it's poisoned with radiation. There's these strange berms all dotted all over actually. It's very, like I say, it's a very chaotic landscape, and obviously these served some kind of function when this was a base. There's a few lakes. And we're going to head now towards these buildings, see what we can see. Okay, we've moved a short distance from the missile silos that were over there, the weapons storage area, and we're now... This is Greenham Park, and it obviously used to be like the hangars and the control tower and things like that connected with the base and the various other base buildings, the barracks and things like that. Now, of course, it's changed, and that building is very obviously newer. To me, it looks much newer than it would have been if it had been part of the working base. But what we're looking for essentially here, I'll just give a bit of an explanation. James Casbolt and Barry King, they claim, as I explained if you watch the previous films of the Piesmore series that I've made, that there is an underground base. It's called AL/499. It is a deep underground military base that is on 6 levels, starting 600 feet below the village of Peasemore in Berkshire, which I visited, of course. It goes down, Barry King says, for over a mile. It's over 400 yards wide. The lowest level is a mile deep. The base, there's no access at all to the village of Piesmore, and I found that out when I went there, because I found it a very charming little village. Have you been to Piesmore, Carla?
I have, yeah, but I've only driven through it. I haven't actually had a chance to look around because I was with my flatmate at the time, and
Right. Yeah.
I wanted to stop off at cemeteries and all sorts of things. So,
Yeah. It was a very, very charming little village actually, and there was I didn't see really anything that I would call suspicious or strange there. It's come to my attention that there are facilities near there which I didn't visit, which are a bit strange. There's a guy called...
Sorry, the entrances... It has been stated that the entrances are not at Piesmore.
No.
The bases. It's claimed the bases, underground bases are there, but not the entrances.
Yeah.
He does state that quite clearly,
He does.
doesn't he? Yeah.
There's nothing in the village, and there's not even a fire escape. I mean, in fact, if there ever was a fire down there, I think you'd be cooked, because there's no way of getting out. The entrances to the base are a long way from the base, and one of them is alleged to be at Harwell, Oxfordshire,
Yeah.
which is where, of course, I went. That's the Alpha entrance, I believe. Another is said to be here, the Delta entrance at Greenham Common. Now, James Casbolt spoke about this a long time ago. In fact, almost 20 years ago now, he spoke about this it was filmed by Miles Johnston in his Bases series, Bases 4, I believe this interview was. And he's told a very, very disturbing story about how children go missing and they're brought to the Piesmore base by the Delta entrance, which is here, somewhere here, according to him. These are children who go missing, and they are tortured and killed in satanic ritual and in experiments, secret government experiments. I'm sorry if that's disturbing, ladies and gentlemen, but
We need to become aware.
Yeah, we
of
need
these
to know.
things.
It's much more
Disturbing as it is, we need to become aware, you know, that this kind of thing is going on. We need to look into it and we need to investigate. You know, we just can't just mock these, you know, you can't just mock these claims as though they, you know, they're meaningless.
Yes.
You know, they've got to be investigated.
Yeah.
That's in my opinion.
You're absolutely right, and I absolutely, and this is what we're doing. That's why I'm here, because it's much more. It would be much more disturbing if these things were going on and no one was talking about
Exactly.
it. So now he said things like they record brainwave patterns of children in very distressing circumstances, all kinds of horrible things. 25,000 children a year go missing in Britain. That's true. I read an article once called 80 Maddies a month, referring to Madeleine McCann. In fact, 80 Maddies a month is actually a very, very conservative estimate of the number of children going missing. But basically, Madeleine McCann, what happened to her, it's been all over the news, had been very, very widely covered, but it's just one of thousands of children who suffer the same fate and then no one ever hears about it.
Exactly.
So, according to James Casbolt, they are brought through the Delta entrance, which is somewhere on this site, or was somewhere on this site we're on now, and they are involved in. They're taken to the AL/499 base, which is there'd be a tunnel running from here. According to Casbolt, he was driven here in a normal car, which went down a ramp into underground, like to an underground car park. And this is a very large ramp. In fact, he describes it as being 2 lanes, so one vehicle can come up and 2 vehicles can come up and down at the same time. One going one way, one going the other.
2-lane traffic.
Yeah, so it's a large, something like that will be, if it's still around, it should be easy to see. If it's been covered up, we don't know if the base is still active, but it should be easy to see. It should be somewhere around here. It should be visible. As you remember from my Harwell video, there was some strange elements at Harwell, which did lead me to suspect that all was not as it seemed. I didn't find the smoking gun that I was looking for, but I did find a lot of strange things. It's raining again. Just going to stop for a minute. Action. Yeah, James Casbolt was we've got to realise a lot of people are saying, well, where is it? Where? Because why doesn't he direct us to the exact point on the base where the entrance was? But he was young. He's younger than 12 actually. He was 8 or 9.
I think he was about 8 or 9. I think he's specified in his video.
Yeah, I know he was born in 1975, I think, which would make him about that age in the early 1980s. And he was brought here and he was drugged. The children were all drugged. As I say, I don't apologise for talking openly about this subject. I think it needs to be talked about. He talks about he saw animal type creatures in cages. Something called the Tigris program was in progress. Barry King talks about this as well. Barry King claims to be a former security guard at the base. Now the creatures in cages were not animal, not human. They were something in between, which leads me to think there's some kind of experimentation going on. Very similar to Nightmare Hall at the Dulce base at Dulce, New Mexico. Yeah, he was taken from his school in 1981 to the Greenham Common gates, drove, and he it's called Bravo entrance, sorry, not Delta entrance, but there's a large 2-lane road.
Excuse me, it makes him 7 years old because he was born in 74, wasn't he?
Yeah, 7. He would have been just 7.
81. That makes him.
Yeah. He's just been a young boy, very small anyway. But he talks about how there's a 2-lane highway running down underground to an underground car park. There were other children there, and there was a classroom setting. And he was made to sit down in his classroom and given puzzles to solve, which apparently test him for psychic abilities. And he was also involved in something called Project Oak Tree, which was carried out at the base, Piesmore, and also quite openly at the Harwell, which he calls Delta entrance, which is what we were looking for a few weeks ago, and which I found some considerable evidence actually that something strange was going on there. Whether we'll find that here today, I don't know. But Project Oak Tree was basically taking creating a genetic database of patients in hospitals. The reason they wanted to do this was they wanted to identify what Casbolt calls blue bloods, a certain bloodline. James Casbolt is he's from an English Jewish background, which also includes some Celtic bloodlines too, which he says are part of what they're trying to target. For what reason, I don't know. These are not Illuminati bloodlines, these are commoner bloodlines, but they apparently are very psychic people. You can actually see colour. I mean, this is where the runways ran. And on here you can actually see there's these big green sort of like fairways, like a golf course, with like fairways on a golf course.
Talking about a golf course, there is one across the road.
Oh, there's a golf course. Yeah, it's just. I mean, and then there's these bushes. It does look like the appearance of a runway. You can imagine this was a runway. And if we come here 30 years ago, this would have all. Well, you couldn't get in because it was a secure base. But there'd have been aircraft taking off and landing all along here, and soldiers marching up and down, jeeps trundling everywhere, things like that. Now I'm guessing, Carla, the place where it's likely to be, we may be able to find out more when we go to Google Earth and do the overhead view. Yeah. But I'm guessing the entrance. That's what you should have done before you arrived here. That's all right. I mean, yeah. But I mean, it's. I'm guessing it's kind of.
In a minute, I'm going to show you where I think the entrance might be.
Okay. Hello, doggy.
Oh,
just cute little doggy. Hello.
Hello.
Oh. See, it's a nice little place here for around. Yeah.
Ideal for dogs.
Yeah, I should have checked out the overhead view, but we'll check it out in a minute and see if there's any clues on the overhead view. But it's not going to be in the middle of the runway. It's likely to be in near one of the base buildings with access to the road. Yeah. Because Casbolt says very clearly that he was driven in a normal car from his school in London.
I'll show you in a minute where I think that might be.
Okay. Yeah, we'll have a look. But you can take us there. We're going across now what would have been the runway all those years ago. These are the base, what used to be the base buildings behind us. You can't see much of that actually because of that big berm in between. So that way it's just like Harwell. Now, Casbolt says that the base was run by the National Security Agency, which is covers a multitude of sins. That does.
Yes.
It's the highest. It has a budget bigger than the CIA and FBI put together. It's in charge of electronic intelligence and many other things too. From its headquarters at Fort Meade, Maryland, or supposedly its headquarters at Fort Meade, it has tentacles all over the world. When a phone rings in Turkmenistan, someone at the NSA can pick it up and can actually listen in. Small people walking their little babies. It's nice. So this would have been the runway. They said you can actually see. Look, there's some of the surface. That looks to me like surface of a runway. It was joined. According to Casbolt and King, the base was run. The AL/499 base was run jointly by the UK, USA and Canada. Its purpose, as I explained in the previous films, biological warfare and the creation of programmable life forms, PGLF. Barry King nicknamed them PG Tips, after the little monkeys. This looks like some of the original surface of the runway. It's you can see here this is it's obviously overgrown and broken now, but this would have been where the planes took off and landed. And there over there is the base buildings. But there's this was involving my labs, military abductions. There's supposedly some other entrances as well. One of them's at Harwell, like I said. Another at Watchfield, and someone mentioned Lambourne. I think it was Barry King mentioned Lambourne. Which is where yeah. No, where did I hear that? But it's where the jockeys train, the National Hunt Racing School. And the other projects were microchipping individuals. And things like that. I mean, you can watch the actual interviews on the Basis project, Miles Johnson's Basis project.
Yeah, Basis 2, isn't it? Barry King's Basis 2, and Casbolt, was it Basis 4?
Yeah, he appears in several of them, but I think it's
Basis 4, Basis 9, and Basis 20. I can't remember.
He's recently done an update. He calls himself Michael Prince now, and he's recently done an update. There's probably a landing light there, look. That might have been a landing light once.
Could be, yeah.
It's yeah. So somebody mentioned Lambourne. Now the question is the entrance? Is there an entrance here still active, or was there ever an entrance? It looks like this area is pretty disused. I mean, it's not a military facility anymore.
No.
So it's possible that this Bravo entrance no longer exists.
If it ever did.
Yeah, if it ever did, and that the base might. This does not mean that the base is no longer in operation. The base may well still be in operation. Definitely. But it's all a bit of a mystery which we're going to continue to try and solve as best we can. It's possible we won't find any answers here. I did find some answers at Harwell. There's some strange structures I spotted. Also, there's a huge hill in the middle of the Harwell facility. A large hill that must be at least 100 feet high. It's not marked on the map. It looks to me like it could be spoil from some underground working, which they haven't marked on the map. That's what it looks like it could be to me. There's nothing like that here, which doesn't mean that there's no tunnel. It could be they just took the spoil from the tunnel somewhere else. Maybe they dumped it at Harwell. Oh, you may wonder, I mean, how could they build these bases under our noses? I mean, when I went to Piesmore, I asked the lady behind the bar at the pub if she'd heard of anything, seen or heard anything strange. She said no. Well, it is possible to do that. I mean, Richard Sauder, now, that book of his, I brought it with me, is an absolute Bible for anyone investigating this sort of thing, because it tells you absolutely everything you need to know about how these tunnels are built, where they're built, who builds them, and basically all the technical details. For instance, where's the money? How do they fund these projects? Because something like the Peasemore base would cost billions of pounds. We're talking about something of the kind of expert conservation. It's something similar in scale to the Channel Tunnel to build something like this. Where does the money come from? Well, there's black budgets. This is the official black budget of the United States is, I forgot how many billion it is. 800 billion dollars US is taken from taxpayers' money and is spent on projects without any congressional democratic oversight at all. It's just done secretly for secret projects. Britain has something similar, and there's also accounting errors where money just goes missing, and it's surprising how often that happens. Do you remember, Carla, Donald Rumsfeld talking about how the Pentagon had lost $1.8 trillion?
No, I don't. No, I'm not familiar.
Oh well, he said the Department of Defence had mislaid, couldn't find $1.8 trillion from its budget. I mean, what did they? Yeah. Did they leave their wallet on the bus? I mean, $1.8 trillion. Imagine how much that is. As I explained, a trillion is a huge number. Imagine a million.
If they can create it like magic, I suppose it can disappear like magic as well.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, as I explained in the previous film, I mean, if you take £1 million, you shrink it down to the size of a penny, then even on that scale, £1 trillion is still £10,000. That's how big a trillion is. And there's also there's other ways that these are funded as well, which I'll go into in a minute. And this is the gate we go into the common. Now, it looks to me like this does date back. Has that appearance of being a gate to a military base. It looks like it dates back to that time period. Now, whether this is the road in which Casbolt said he was brought in the car in 1981, I don't know. As I say, Casbolt doesn't have those details. There are several different entrances to what was the base. It's possible that he was brought in here. Let's just have a look over here at the map. I'll show you where we are. This is basically where we've been. We went along this road here, along past these missile silos, along past here. The control tower, I think we've just seen, if that's what it was, that structure over there, which I thought was a water tower. There are several different entrances. It's quite a complicated area, and there's no way we could possibly examine all of it in one go. But here's this. Feel free to pause and read. But it's 500 hectares, which is a big place. And as you see, it's been turned into a. The airbase is now owned by West Berkshire Council, and it's undergoing a restoration process. There's 1,500,000 cubic metres of gravel contaminated with aviation fuel from where it was a runway, and you can see we walked along there and then up that way and then back, and back again. So we shall now go, because there's somewhere else we need to investigate. Carla is aware of another entrance which we're going to go to now, so see you in a bit. Oh, now we're entering something called Greenham Common. Now, this is just another part of the common. This is the other area. There's a big tank of what may have been aviation gas or something, and we're going to have a look around here to see what there is. But we've seen what looks like a control tower, an aircraft control tower here, and this is it. It looks like it's boarded up actually. There's no windows showing. I think this is public land. I think we can come in here. But,
yeah, it doesn't say.
It looks like that used to be the tower.
Do you want to stop, or do you want me to carry on going?
Just park, and should we park and get out and have a look around?
Yeah.
Okay. Hopefully the weather will hold.
Yeah.
I don't need my notebook anyway. Right, here we are, and this is where we've just driven up to. We just parked over there, and we are here. As we can see here, we came from there. We've driven along this road here, and we've come to the control tower centre. This was the control tower of the base, and it's all boarded up now. But we're looking, like I said, we're looking for any signs, basically, of any underground facility. Yeah, this is the history of Greenham Common. Started in the site of army training in First World War. In 1939, brought as the borough of Newbury, and then, of course, in the early 1940s, it became an airbase. And then in 1951, reacquisition for use by US Air Force Strategic Air Command, which is when they brought in the cruise missiles. 1980, Greenham Common Air Base announced as a site for cruise missiles. That's what triggered off the protests, because people didn't want American nuclear weapons on our shores. I can understand that, actually. I mean, I remember it vaguely. I was a small child, but I remember it vaguely, how it was being very frightened of nuclear attack when I was a kid.
Yeah.
You know, when we were at school, we were shown this this film called Threads. You can get it on YouTube now.
Oh, right, okay.
And it's like it was a kind of a. It was one of the most upsetting and depressing films I've ever seen. And we were shown to it as little kids. It's about a nuclear attack. It's sort of like a drama following the group of people living through a nuclear attack.
Right.
There was another one called The Day After, which was made along similar lines.
Yeah.
And they're horrifying. And they're just so depressing. This it reminds me, it's all broken down. It reminds me of Montauk. Have you ever seen any pictures of the Montauk base on, which is at Long Island, New York?
No, I've heard of Montauk though.
Yeah, there's rumoured to be, now this is, what's different about Montauk is there is definitive proof of an underground facility there. There's a control tower, it looks rather like this actually at Montauk. And now Stuart Swerdlow, the guy who made this allegation, said he's basically a bit like James Casbolt, only there was an underground base at Montauk that he was taken to, which is used for mine control. He said that there were some underground levels underneath the control tower. Well, a group of people went there, including Richard Dolan, who you're familiar with, I'm sure, because he's featured before, went to Montauk and they took ground penetrating radar, and they found the remains of some sort of underground facility there. There was some sort of underground facility at Montauk. That's undoubtable. And what's more, there were some tunnels leading down with ladders. Richard Dolan tried exploring these tunnels, and they went down and they couldn't see whether there is some sort of underground facility at Montauk. We're looking for similar evidence here. For sale. Iconic Grade 2 listed building for sale. There's the phone number. Call them for more details. I'm not sure I'd want to live there, you know.
Oh, I don't know.
That would be a nice view, wouldn't it? This car park closes at 8 PM. Okay, well, we're not nowhere near. It's about 2 PM now, so we're fine. We're just going to have a walk onto here now, and we'll see what there is to see. I'll have to change the film chip in a minute. I've got another one, so okay. That's all right. We're still, like I said, we're looking for evidence of some kind of entrance, a ramp with a road leading, with road access. As we see, this is another spot with road access. Where it would be somewhere, like I said, it wouldn't be in the middle of the bloody runways. It would be somewhere around the edge of the base, somewhere near where cars could come in and out. There would probably be an inner cordon of security around the entrance after the vehicle had already passed through the entrance to the general Piesmore facility, the general Greenham Common facility. The Piesmore facility would have a separate entrance. Right, I'm going to have to change the film chip now. We're running out of film. Shows how busy we've been.
I mean, there's part of me that thinks, yeah, it's all genuine, and that there's another part that thinks, I mean, I totally, you know, I do believe. You got that recorded?
Yes. Okay. Sorry. Is that right? No, I mean, I personally, I'm. Of course, the possibility is this is all made up. That there's no such thing. I mean, Ian Turnbull.
There is, but are they here where they've specified them, or whether they've, you know?
I mean, Ian Turnbull is a guy that keeps track of all these bases and things like that. He says that it's just a rumour started by Barry King. James Casbolt jumped on the bandwagon and stuff like that. I think maybe, of course, that is a possibility. But this is why I went and made these films and did these expeditions to try and find out if there's evidence. And of course, in the case of Harwell, there is. Yeah. There is something strange happened at Harwell. There are some strange anomalies at Harwell that shouldn't be there. A huge mound that I mentioned, which does look like it's possible. It's very secure, highly secure areas you can't reach in Harwell.
Yeah.
Harwell, of course, is still in operation. See, what I'm thinking is that it's perfectly possible that the entrance was sealed when this military base here was closed. Yeah, it's possible that the surround the fact this was a military base was integral to the security of the Bravo entrance, and so it closed. So maybe it's been covered over. It may have been sealed. It may have been sealed up.
What would be the reason for closing that entrance? So what would you think?
The reason,
why would they, if there was?
With the closure of, I think what the reason for closing it may be simply because the Greenham Common base shut down. The Greenham Common American base closed, and this area is returned to West Berkshire Council for them to do with it as they please. Right. Okay. And in that case, it would be much more difficult to keep that entrance secure than having it on a.
Yes, I see what you mean.
Than having it on a military base. Of course, the military base itself was not. The Greenham Common base is not actually the security for Piesmore, but it was like an outer echelon of security. My guess is that people. American servicemen who were serving on this base would not have had access to the Bravo entrance. There would have been a second ring of security around that. Yeah. So an inner ring of security. This is what seems to be the case at Harwell. Yeah.
I sent you a website the other day of a manor or a court or something. It was school, wasn't it?
Rudlow Manor.
No.
No.
Cookham.
Oh yeah.
Something. And apparently when it was a boarding school, it had a lot of kids there that were abused, and they were children of people that were serving on the military base. Or,
right.
Yeah. So that might be worth looking into then.
Definitely, yeah.
Apparently there is a Facebook group for survivors of this. I don't know whether you've had a chance to read through it.
I haven't looked.
For the survivors of the
abuse. Of that school.
I think it might be very similar to the what was that boarding school in Kent that was recently exposed?
I don't know.
Somebody called Teresa Cooper.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I don't.
Kendall House, was that?
I think maybe that's it. Yeah, maybe that's it.
Maybe it's the same sort of thing. So that might be worth looking into, but where this manor is, I have no idea. I'll have to find it.
I remember you said it because they're refurbishing it at the moment.
Yeah.
I'm going to, just one moment.
Oh, yes.
Well, this is the flagpole. Presumably this would have flown the Stars and Stripes and the probably the RAF flag as well. So we're just going to go over it. There's several buildings. That's the building where we came from, the command centre. There's some more buildings, a modern building over there. But there's this flagpole and some kind of water feature, because I've seen a life belt. So there's a water feature of some kind over here. So you can imagine all the squaddies lining up, saluting the flag as it was raised all those years ago. How things have changed. Yeah, there you see is the water feature. That's another thing I found at Harwell. Those strange ponds with, I don't know what they were for. And there's a building over here which might be nothing, or it might be something significant, I don't know. I mean, my guess is what they would have done if they wanted to seal the Bravo entrance. They basically cover it over with concrete, cover over the top of where the ramp goes in.
Yeah.
They just put a concrete slab or something over it.
Yeah.
And then maybe cover it over with earth, and maybe we're walking on top of it right now.
Yeah.
We may have walked over what was the Bravo entrance to the Piesmore base. There's some kind of building over here. I'm just going to go and have a look at it. There's another one over there. But and there's the water feature. So I mean, so far it's been a bit. Evidence has been a bit thin on the ground, to be honest. I haven't seen that much. I mean, I've got Richard Sauder's book with me, so I know what signs to look for, as I explained in the previous films. And I haven't seen any of those signs, none of them. I know Richard D. Hall is not very, he's not terribly, he's not very credulous of Casbolt and King. Now this is interesting. I don't know if this is significant, but it looks like we're on some kind of raised pathway. There's these, you see this stone at the edge here. There's stone borders. I don't know if something ever went down underground here. I don't know. It's very close to the flag. I imagine it'd be somewhere in a bit more unobtrusive part of the bay, maybe inside a hangar or something. I don't know. But we now have here a building with the number 309 embossed on the side. It appears to be an old building. I'd say it dates back to the base, to the days of the Greenham Common base. Bare wires hanging out. What's in that hole? Let's have a look. There's a hole here. I don't know if you can see anything in there. I can't see anything. No, it's all dark. Mind the thorns, Carla.
Yeah.
What's there? Anything?
Nothing. Just nothing.
Yeah. This looks like it might be some kind of, maybe a generator or a substation. But these bases did have their own generators, like the hospital did. We have our own generators at the hospital, just in case the mains gave out. Ooh, yeah, mind the thorns. Mind them, there are thorns.
I don't know what you want to look in.
Oh. There's this kind of like salt solidified, I don't know, it's clinker or tar or something there.
Black goo.
Oh, black goo, yeah! Miles, we found some black goo! Now there's something in here. I'm just going to have a look inside. I can see there's a tank of some kind. When I put my head in the door, I cover myself with cover up my own light. You got, oh,
I don't
you
know
got a
whether it's
torch.
working very well. Really.
What's in there? One moment, HPANWO TV viewers. I'll just turn you to one side and I look inside. There's some kind of machine there. Thanks.
Don't know whether it's
Doesn't
a bit
carry very
dodgy.
far. No. There's some looks like tanks over there of something. But it looks like that machine looks damaged. I'll just put the low light effect on. That's it. Oh, that's better. Now you can see better than we can now, HPANWO TV viewers. Don't want to drop your camera inside. No, just want to be careful. But there's something in there. I think I'll have to go back and look at the film to be certain. Oh yeah, I can see some kind of machinery and there's a warning sign on the side of it. That must be where they keep the black goo, I'm guessing. There's a warning sign there. Danger of electrocution. Danger of death, keep off. We're not... Yeah, it's generators, I think.
Concentration camp.
Yeah, oh. But there's something there anyway. But
Don't know what that is.
yeah. Doesn't look like it's in use anyway. Looks pretty old.
Seems to sink in there.
Yeah, there may be some... Oh, I'll just turn the low light off, hang on. There's some... It seems to be... Maybe it's some kind of evidence of a... Something underground there, I don't know. What do you reckon?
We'll come with a torch next time.
Yeah. I got a picture using the night shot on my camera, quite a good picture.
Whatever's on that is this.
Yeah.
It's broken.
It came off there,
Whatever
yes.
That is. Whatever that is.
Yes. It came from in there. It's like a pipe, part of a segment of a pipe.
Yeah.
What's...
I got a feeling they probably have vandals or something in there.
Yeah.
That's why you got the hole in the door, and they whoever's gone in there has had a smashing time.
Yeah. What interests me is, I mean, I'd use the night shot to get a shot in there. I can distinctly see, what looks like generators or some kind of machinery. It's a big warning sign on the side.
Yeah.
I'm going back this way. I'm not going through those thorns again. Black goo. Oh, we got a specimen of black goo. Is it this psych? Oh, is it this? So this is black goo, is it?
I don't know.
David Griffin. This is what they thought the Falklands War over. I think it's just clinker. It's just like tar.
Yeah,
I think that's all it is. Yeah. Ah, it's a. Well, there's not really much else to see. I don't think here. I think we've. Is there anything else we can find? Yeah. We'll just carry on a bit further, see what we can find. We'll let you know as soon as I see anything interesting. Alright, well, we've come a short distance from the first building we were looking at, which is over there. And we walked around this path here and we've reached this one. This to me is a modern building. It obviously is. It postdates the military base at Greenham Common. There's some Land Rovers and other vehicles around here, car park. It looks to me like some kind of estate management centre. That's all it is. I mean, there's some sort of like spare parts and things lying around. Bits of like scaffolding and things. There's a few people over there, which is okay. Some people over there. Looks to me like it's like some an estate management centre. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it says something on the side of the Land Rover. What does it say? I can't quite make it out. West Berkshire. Yeah, it's West Berkshire Council. Okay, so nothing to see there, except a big pond there. Right, so should we head back to the car?
Yeah.
We actually, I mean, it's been a bit of a disappointment, I must say. I haven't located any evidence of the type I was expecting to find. Although we'll have a look at the overhead view, which I should have looked at before. But
yes,
there's nothing on. Yeah, we should have looked before. But it doesn't look like there's going to be anything particularly edifying around here, I must say. Which is a disappointment, but very different from Harwell, where there was a lot of very interesting material.
Well, that's still quite active there, isn't
You
it?
know, which it looks like if there's something. Certainly, there's signs that there was some kind of underground construction at Harwell. As I point out, if you go to, I mean, if you haven't seen them already, please look at Piesmore 2 and the original Piesmore film that I made. Piesmore 2 in particular is important. There's definite signs that Harwell there's some kind of underground construction. There's also some strange structures there which look like they might be connected with some kind of underground construction. Here there's nothing. as we and Carla were saying before, it's possible that the use of an entrance here was inimical to the presence of a surface military base, a US Air Force base, and that when that US Air Force base was gone, they decided to close down that entrance. So we're gonna it's actually quite nippy, isn't
God,
it?
it's suddenly got cold.
It's a bit bitter, isn't it? Yeah, but imagine in sunny weather this must be a really beautiful
Yeah, it is. It's nice.
place to walk. Greenham
It's great
Common.
for kite flying.
Yeah. Oh god, yeah, the wind and everything. It's open flat ground, which is why they put the air base here. Heathland, they're restoring it to the natural place. We've seen lots of people walking, dogs. We've seen lots of cyclists. There's a mum and baby there having a little walk around. So, and there's what's that tower over there?
Yeah.
Mobile phone mast.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
You get much of a signal here.
No, but all in all, we haven't found anything. Like I say, this is a large. There's no way we can cover this entire area one day. So I might come back and do a part 2 of this. In other words, a part 3 of the Piesmore film. If we find out some more. Carla here is going to. She's my woman on the ground in Newbury.
Oh God.
And
My eyes now.
oh, it's wind, isn't it? I got
Yeah.
a few, yeah. And she's going to do some investigation for me, and she's been very helpful. In fact, I'd like to thank you, Carla, on behalf of HPANWO TV, for helping me today.
It's been a pleasure, Ben. I just wish I could have been of a bit more help.
Oh, you're great. Yeah. I mean, I didn't know this. I mean, you've been directing me around this place. It would have taken me a long time to find my way around if you hadn't been here. So, thank you very much. Okay, so now we'll proceed to look at the overhead view. And I think if we can't see anything on that, I think we might have to call this. Might call a case closed on just this particular area. Not on the base, not on the Piesmore base, but on the Greenham Common entrance to the Piesmore base. Right, this is Greenham Common from above, and as you can see from this aerial view, its former life as an air base is very, very apparent. There is where the runway was. You see going along there. There's various taxiways and other things around the area. Base buildings, the command. These were once areas like barracks and other base buildings, hangars and other things. Now they're used by the Greenham Community and Arts Centre and things like that. And there's the old command tower up there, which we've just visited. See, we walked in up along through here, and there's those cruise missile silos there. We walked along there, we walked along this pathway here, then across the common there. We travelled into this area here. You can see there that's those council buildings we saw, and the various other structures. And there, of course, is the command tower. All in all, there's actually nothing here really to indicate that it's anything other than what it was, a military air base. There's nothing here that backs up Barry King and James Casbolt's story one tiny little bit. It's just, as I was explaining with to Carla, this doesn't mean that their story is untrue. It just means that for whatever reason they decided to shut the entrance. If the entrance existed, then it's been closed when the base closed, as we explained. And if you remember earlier on, we were talking about where the money comes from these bases, because as we were explaining, a base like Piesmore will cost billions. It's the equivalent of the Channel Tunnel, as I was saying. The answer is the taxpayer pays, as we were explaining, but I didn't get round to explaining the other location or source from where these kind of projects are funded, and that is unfortunately illegal drugs. Governments have a stake in drug barons, with drug barons in Colombia and places like that, importing crack cocaine, heroin and other things. This is where a lot of the money for these secret projects, including extraterrestrial research, mind control, genetic research, and all these other things that wouldn't be permitted in the outside world, but do go on within the breakaway civilization, as Richard Dolan calls it. This is where a lot of them are funded. So, all in all, this is the third part of my investigation to try and back up the claims of those who are witnesses to the Piesmore facility. It's been a bit of a disappointment. There's been no evidence at all discovered at Greenham Common. So I think it just remains for me to say that this is not the end, because there are other places I can go to. There are other alleged sites where there are entrances to this base which I can investigate. And so I'll be going there next time. Well, all I can say is thanks for joining me on this little expedition. Fruitless as it was, I still had a good time. And it's a lovely place there. It's lovely to meet and talk to Carla and have a wander around that little bit of greenery in the middle of Newbury. And thank you for joining me, yeah, and I hope you enjoyed this film. Hospital Porters, Pride and Dignity, Stop the New World Order.